He was a rising star, young, powerful, unstoppable. A player built like a tank with a future so bright it seemed guaranteed. Yet within hours, everything collapsed. Police were called. Rumors exploded online. And soon, the shocking announcement confirmed what no one wanted to believe. Marshawn Kneeland was gone. But what really happened inside those final hours? Why are investigators so quiet? And why does every new detail seem to raise more questions instead of answers? Tonight, we dive deep into the chilling mystery surrounding the final moments of Marshawn Kneeland's life, because the truth is far more complicated than anyone expected. Marshawn Kneeland wasn't just another name on a roster. He was a force of nature, an athlete whose speed, power, and discipline made him a standout long before he reached the national stage. Fans admired him. Coaches relied on him. And for many young players, he was the definition of what hard work could accomplish. But now the world is stunned, searching for answers after the sudden and deeply mysterious death of the 23-year-old athlete. And as new details continue to emerge, the mystery only grows deeper. Authorities have released only fragments of information, and those fragments paint a confusing picture, one filled with contradictions, silence, and a timeline that doesn't add up. Friends say he was happy. Coaches say he had big plans. Relatives insist there were no signs of trouble. Yet something happened in those final hours, something serious enough to end a life that was just beginning. To understand the full story, we have to go back to the hours before the tragedy. Multiple sources say Marshawn was last seen in what appeared to be a normal, calm state. Some reports suggest he had been spending time with close friends, while others claim he was alone earlier that day preparing for a routine schedule. Nothing alarming, nothing unusual, nothing that would suggest a storm was coming. But as the night progressed, everything began to shift. According to early statements, authorities responded to a call involving Marshawn under unclear circumstances. The exact nature of that call still isn't fully public. Was it a medical emergency? A mental health crisis? A disturbance? Nobody seems to have a clear answer, and official reports remain heavily guarded. What we do know is that by the time first responders arrived, Marshawn's condition had worsened rapidly. Paramedics worked urgently, but their efforts weren't enough. Within a short window of time, the young athlete's life slipped away, shocking everyone who knew him and leaving behind 1,000 unanswered questions. As soon as news of his death broke, social media erupted. Fans wanted answers. Friends were devastated. Teammates refused to believe it. And journalists started digging. That's when the mystery deepened, because nearly every new detail only added more confusion. Some accounts suggest Marshawn had been struggling quietly with personal issues, something he rarely spoke about publicly. Others say he had been feeling stressed due to his growing career, the intense expectations, and the pressures of maintaining peak performance. But people close to him have pushed back strongly, saying he was positive, motivated, and excited for the future. That contradiction alone has fueled speculation. How could someone with so much discipline and drive suddenly fall into such a tragic situation? Was he hiding something? Did something happen behind closed doors? Or was this truly a sudden, unforeseen medical emergency? As investigators continue piecing together the timeline, they have remained tight-lipped, offering minimal information while the case remains open. That silence, intentional or not, has only made the story more mysterious. Family members have expressed deep grief, but also frustration, urging the public not to jump to conclusions while they await official results. Teammates have posted emotional tributes, sharing stories of Marshawn's kindness, leadership, and relentless work ethic. Coaches have described him as a once-in-a-generation talent, disciplined, focused, and humble despite his growing fame. But even through the tributes, the same haunting question echoes across every corner of the internet. What happened to Marshawn Kneeland during those final hours? Some sources suggest medical factors may have played a role, raising questions about underlying health conditions that could have gone unnoticed. Others whisper about emotional stress or psychological pressure, common but often invisible struggles among high-performance athletes. And then there's the third possibility, that something external happened, something nobody has spoken about yet. The truth is still hidden, buried beneath ongoing investigations, confidential reports, and the reluctance of those involved to speak publicly. Until authorities release the full findings, all anyone can do is piece together the fragments, trying to understand a tragedy that feels both sudden and painfully unfair. As more information trickles in, one thing becomes clear. Marshawn's death is not just a headline, it's a wake-up call. A reminder that even the strongest people, the ones who appear unbreakable, may be fighting silent battles we never see. His story has now sparked discussions across sports communities, mental health circles, and fan groups. People are demanding better support systems for athletes, better transparency during investigations, and better understanding of the pressures young players face in today's high-stakes environment. And while the investigation continues, the world mourns the loss of a man who had barely taken the first steps of what should have been a long and extraordinary journey. Marshawn Kneeland leaves behind a legacy of passion, dedication, and resilience. He leaves behind memories cherished by teammates, coaches, and fans who believed in him. And he leaves behind a mystery, one that, for now, remains unanswered. As we await official statements and more detailed reports, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. The truth behind Marshawn's final hours will come out eventually, and when it does, it may change everything we think we know about his tragic and sudden passing. Until then, we honor him the way he deserves, by remembering his strength, his spirit, and the incredible impact he made in such a short time.